Hello friends, and happy Foster Care Friday. It's Friday again. This week flew by for me. I don't know about y'all. But yeah, welcome to the party. I realized this week that my husband and I have been foster parents for a year, and we just totally missed our 1-year anniversary of being foster parents because we've been so busy lately. And I really have absolutely no plan for this video. Again, we've been super busy. And so I'm just going to kind of let you guys know what our first year as foster parents looked like. And we'll see how this goes. I'll try not to make it too long. If you're interested in hearing about our first year as foster parents, then stick around. But first, if you are new here, my name is Anna Leonora, and together with my husband, Jason, we are foster parents in real life, and here on my channel, From the Fosters, we do foster parenting life together and raise awareness for the foster care system. So if any of that interests you, then please consider liking the videos, subscribing to my channel down below. While you're down there, don't forget to hit your post notification bell so that you don't miss when I post any new videos like this, and so you can join my growing family here on YouTube. I'm in a really good mood this morning, guys, because I finally got some sleep last night. So I'm feeling good. Plus I've got my coffee with my favorite coffee cup that says I'm a catacorn, and it's got a cat, unicorn, and a donut. One of my best friends bought me this cup, and I use it every single day. And it's got a little, like, I don't know if you can see it, hashtag meow right here. If you know, you know. I'm a crazy cat lady. So anyway, I've got my coffee. I'm feeling good, and I want to tell you guys about what my first year as a foster parent looked like. So I'm looking this way because I have a notebook somewhere that had, I know I didn't have a plan for this video, but it had a couple notes, and I don't know where it went. So we're really going to go rogue on this video. My husband and I became foster parents last October, so October 2019, after a several-year battle. It was like 2 years battle of infertility and trying to get pregnant with biological children. That just did not work out. We did try fertility treatments. We did get pregnant on our first round of fertility treatments and suffered a pregnancy loss. And we tried several more rounds of fertility treatments, and we never were able to get pregnant again. So I have always known I wanted to adopt. Since a very young age, I wanted biological children, and I wanted to adopt because I've always wanted to help children in need. And I just didn't think it would happen at this point in my life. I'm not even 30 yet, because I just sort of assumed I would have biological children first, you know, because we've got this biological clock that's ticking. And yeah, life just didn't work that way. And right now, private adoption is insanely expensive. And my husband and I, when we were thinking about how we were going to grow our family, my husband has a cousin who adopted from foster care, and we got to talking to her about her experience, and we decided that foster care was going to be the right choice for us because we could help a large number of children. And we, in the training, understand the importance of reunification. So we are on board with reunification unless that is not possible and the state changes the plan. If any of our children's cases turn to adoption, then we are open to adopting as well. So we became foster parents a year ago in October. It took us 8 months. And I have a video about what the requirements are for becoming a foster parent. It'll be linked in the description down below if you're interested in that. I've already discussed that. But the process took us about 8 months. You can do it in as little as like 3 to 4 months. We just kind of took our time because we didn't already have kids. So we didn't have any cribs, children's beds, furniture, toys, clothes. We had nothing. So we had to prepare our home for children, and we sort of took our time with that. And yeah, so the process took us 8 months. And the day our license came in the mail, we got our very first phone call for 2 little boys under the age of 2. I have referred to them in previous videos as Grasshopper and Cricket. I named them, I gave them their social media names prior to starting my Halloween theme names. So they are my 2 that don't have Halloween theme names, but they are Grasshopper and Cricket. We had a 3-month-old, and I think he was like 15 to 18 months old. I don't really remember. We only had them for 6 days. They were precious and wonderful, but it was trial by fire. Never having been a parent before and being given 2 hours notice to suddenly become a parent to 2 under 2 was crazy. But they ended up getting to go to a kinship member just 6 days after we got them. So we had them for a very brief period of time, but it was a whirlwind of a week. And yeah, it was just a real like getting thrown right into the fire right away. Our social worker for that case did not reach out to us until we had already had the boys for 5 days. So we had 5 days where we were just kind of floundering, figuring things out on our own. So that was a lot of fun. After those 2, we were sort of in shock about how quickly it happened and how we were just sort of left to our own devices for so long, and we just kind of needed a breather. So we requested a break. So for a month, we did not get any phone calls. After a month, we got a phone call for our second placement, at the time, a 4-year-old little boy, and we agreed, and we still have him. So that is Casper. You will hear me refer to him as Casper, is his social media name. He is now 5, and we have had him 11 months. And yeah, he's still here. The case plan is still reunification. We're still working on that. But yeah, we don't know how long we're going to have him for. We'll happily keep him as long as we are allowed and able, but we also support reunification. We have a really good relationship with his biological parents. And if you've been on the channel a while, you've heard me talk plenty about him. And he's wonderful. He's a joy. We absolutely love him. But he was our first long-term placement. So we got him November 2019. It is now October 2020. We do still have him at this time, and we don't know what the timeline is. If you know in foster care, you never know the timeline. So we don't know the timeline. And that just is what it is. So we have had him for the remainder of the children I'm going to talk about. We've also had Casper during these other children. Casper is very high energy, and he had a lot of needs. We had a lot of different types of doctor's appointments to work out in the beginning of when we got him. We did have to go through a surgery with him. We've had to set him up with a bunch of different types of therapies, speech, occupational, things like that. And so we really have had a lot that we've had to do with him. And for that reason, but also the reason of us wanting to be able to focus on him and only him, to be able to give him time to heal and all of that, we had him alone for like 8 or 9 months. We had just Casper, and we focused on just Casper. We got a lot of phone calls in that time frame for other placements, and we just always turned them down. In August, or maybe the phone call came at the end of July. I think the phone call came at the end of July. We got 2 phone calls, and we got 3. I did a whole video about this. The thumbnail says something about, did we just accept 4 more kids? We got called for 3 phone calls for 4 different kids in a 24-hour period. We said yes to all of them, but only one of them worked out. So one of them was a 3-year-old little boy they were seeking placement for. We said yes to him. He ended up going to a grandparent, and that was that. We never met him, never saw him, but we had said yes. They just didn't end up needing us. The second one was for a respite placement that was a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they were going to need respite for like 10 or 11 days. They were already in daycare, in a daycare that happened to be right down the road from Casper's. And it was a short-term, just respite placement. Well, we thought Casper was at a good enough place that we could start accepting placements. And yeah, that was, you can watch my videos about that experience. We really liked those boys. They were wonderful. We named them Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, and they were precious. They all got along really well, but it did trigger some things in Casper. So after they left, we almost immediately got a phone call for a newborn baby girl. We agreed to her. We called her Mavis on social media. So she was number 6 of children coming through our home. We had her for about a month, and she ended up going to kinship after that. So we had her for a month. Casper was in love with her. But I think what part of the problem was the children coming and then leaving. Casper has some abandonment issues, which is common in foster care because they've been taken from their family and everything they know. And so that's scary to them. Losing things they love and care about is scary to them. So I think the coming and going of the children was triggering a little bit for him. So we made the decision after Mavis left us, we were not going to take any more children in unless they were pre-adoptive only. Now, pre-adoptive does not equal a guaranteed adoption, but it's a higher chance that you'll get to adopt them. So we just didn't want to take in a child not knowing that they were gonna, like, knowing that there was a really big chance that they're not gonna get to stay and that Casper's gonna get his heart broken again with them leaving. Whereas a pre-adoptive placement, yes, there's a chance they're gonna leave you, but it's a little bit of a smaller chance. So we basically told our social worker and our licensing worker that we were only interested in taking pre-adoptive placements. The other placement we had been called for back in August was a pre-adoptive little boy. They ended up finding another pre-adoptive home for him. So we had said yes to him, but he never came to us anyway. So anyway, what I'm getting at is we've had 6 children come through our home in the last year. At this point in time, none of them have become adoptable for us, which is fine because the point of foster care is reunification or getting them back at least with kinship. So the 2 boys we took for respite, I have not had contact with their foster parents since then. I did not know them prior to the respite placement. We weren't friends. We're not through the same agency. So I just haven't had contact with them. So I don't know what their case is doing. But Grasshopper and Cricket went to kinship and Mavis went to kinship. Again, I don't know what's happening with that now because once they leave us, if the family wants to continue contact with us, they are welcome to, but they don't have to. And that's up to them. It's not up to us to be bothering those family members for updates unless they initiate first and say they're okay with it. So because we only had Grasshopper and Cricket for 6 days, it wasn't really enough time to form a relationship with his family in a way that made them want to stay in touch with us, and we were fine with that. Mavis, we really would have loved to continue to be in her life or get updates on her because we did have her for a month. We had her from the time she was 2 weeks old to 6 weeks old, and we really fell in love with her, and I would love to have updates on her. I'm very happy for her that she's with kinship. But I had contact with her mother, but I didn't have any contact with the kinship member that she went to. So I never met that person. I never got to know that person. I never formed a relationship with that person. So it makes sense that that person doesn't want to have a relationship with me or reach out to me because we never met each other. We never talked. I only had communication with her mother. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I love all of the children that have come through my home, and I wish them all the best. I'm so happy for the ones that have been able to go be with kinship members, and it's hard to put into words. Right now I'm on a high, but we have had a lot of lows in our first year of foster parenting, and I'm really trying to do a video where I get my husband to come on with me and we talk about some of the things that we weren't expecting that have happened, some of the experiences that we've had, of course, keeping confidentiality of the children, but just from the foster parents' perspective, what the first year looked like in terms of just things that we've dealt with that we weren't really prepared for. So let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to meet my husband and if you'd like to get his perspective on all of this. I am really trying to get him to come on. He is a little bit more shy, quiet, reserved until he gets to know people. So he's sort of not as comfortable with the idea of coming and being on camera, but I'm really trying to get him on because I want to include his perspective And I want to be able to talk openly about some of the things that we experienced in the first year of foster parenting that we weren't expecting and that were really amazing, but also the ones that were really challenging, because I think that that could be really helpful to people who are looking at becoming foster parents, or people who are in their first year of foster parenting going through something and they just want reassurance that they're not alone. I can tell you guys, we've had a lot of lows in our first year of fostering, and it's apparent to me why the retention rate of foster parents is very low and why so many foster parents leave fostering after their first year of being foster parents. I see it. I understand it. We've thought about it. We obviously are going to see Casper's case through because we love him. He's part of our family at this point, and we're not going to just stop fostering before his case is over and make him go move with someone else. Like, we're not doing that. But we have had, and right now we're at a point where we want to continue to foster, and we do have plans to continue to foster. We've been in talks with our social worker about some things. So definitely right now we want to keep fostering, but we have had periods of time during this first year of fostering where we have said, when Casper's case is over, whichever way Casper's case goes, reunification, adoption, kinship, whatever it does, when his case is over, we're done. We have had those conversations because fostering's hard, and we have run into a lot of things that we weren't expecting. And it's not, a lot of foster parents will tell you it's not the kids that are hard. It's the system, dealing with the system. And that's true, but the kids also can be challenging. These kids have been through some really difficult things. ABUSE and neglect at very young ages does a lot to the brain, the developing brain. And not all children in foster care have super challenging behaviors, but some do. And we have had some that did. And we've had to deal with some behaviors that we weren't expecting. We have been pushed to the edges of our patience, and we have been forced to grow as human beings in ways that we never expected. And I know that that can be parenting in general, but there's a lot of added layers of complication with fostering. But the children are always worth it. So right now we're at a point where we've been doing this a year. We've had 6 kids come through our home. 1 is still here. 5 have left us. 2 were meant to be short-term because they were respite, and the others went to kinship. So we've had a good amount of experiences at this point. We've not experienced having a long-term placement be reunified yet. So Casper's been with us 11 months. We've not had a child with us more than a month before they've had to leave us. So if and when Casper is reunified or goes to kinship and we have to say goodbye to him, that will be a new experience for us that will be challenging and difficult. But of course we will support reunification and kinship if that's what happens. And that is something that I can't really speak on because we haven't been through that yet, but we've been through a lot of different things. 6 kids in a year. Think about it. Most people that have a child naturally, or even do a domestic infant adoption and have, you know, 1 child, most people who have children have only 1 or 2 children in their first year of parenting, right? Like triplets, quadruplets are very, very rare. So even twins are pretty rare, but like they're more common than triplets, quadruplets, etc. So most new parents have only 1 or 2 kids in their first year of parenting to deal with. But my husband and I are brand new parents. It was our first year of parenting. We've parented 6, and they have ranged in age from 2 weeks to 5 years. So we've had a lot of experiences, and that's not going to be everybody's fostering experience. I have heard of people who take in a single infant as their first placement and then end up getting to adopt that child, and that's the only placement they've had. Or people who take in, you know, a teenager and have just the 1 for a year, or only have 2 kids within their first year. we've had 6 kids come through our home. So that's not everybody's experience, but that has been ours. And it has been a whirlwind. We are not expecting to have that many children in a year moving forward, at least as long as we have Casper, because again, while we have Casper, we only want to take in pre-adoptive children at this point for now. Now, if Casper's case were ever to turn to adoption and we were to keep him and we got him to a point where we felt he was comfortable and able to handle us fostering again, we would do it. But for now, for the foreseeable future, we want to only say yes to pre-adoptive placements. Now, we've been foster parents for a year and some days. It's been like a year and a week. And we actually got our first phone call in the middle of the night last night. My husband's phone rang. We didn't answer it because it was a number we didn't know and it wasn't a local area code. So we just didn't answer it, but then they immediately called my phone, same number. So I woke up and answered it at 1:30 this morning, and it was a social worker supervisor asking if we would be able to take 2 children in that are an emergency placement. They were removing them in the middle of the night. We had to decline that placement. I felt really, really bad about it. Just because of the things I've already said with Casper, not wanting to take in a placement that could just be for a couple days or a month. And, you know, these kids, she didn't say anything about them being pre-adoptive. So for that, but then there's some other things happening that I'm not going to disclose yet because they're not set in stone. But once they are, I will do another foster care update and let you guys know what's going on. It's not Casper leaving. As far as we know, there's no plan for him to leave us yet. But we've been in talks with our social worker about something else. So if you're interested in another foster care update, then please hit your post notification bell down below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, hit the post notification bell. It will let you know when I post new videos. Hopefully I'll have that update for you within the next 2 weeks. We'll see. I'm sorry this was all over the place. Again, I didn't have a plan for today. We've been so busy this week. I just thought I'd come on and talk to you and hang out. But yeah, first year foster parenting. Let me know if you want to hear from my husband, what some of our challenges were and what some of our really high moments have been. But yeah, we've had 6 kids through our home in the last year, which is crazy to me. Our first year of parenting ranging from 2 weeks to 5 years. So we've had the gamut, y'all. And it's been crazy. We still have Casper. I know I've said that 100 times. I don't know why I keep saying that. You guys know we still have Casper. I will let you know if we ever don't have Casper anymore. Obviously, I would give you an update on that, but yeah, I don't know. I'll talk about Halloween next week because this video is already long enough. We have had to wait to get Casper his costume because he keeps changing his mind about what he wants to be between Captain America and Hulk. When we got him November of last year, he was still talking about it because it wasn't that long after Halloween. He was talking about how he wanted to be Hulk, and he continued to talk about wanting to be Hulk for Halloween until like 2 months ago when he changed his mind to Captain America, and he wavered between the two, and now he's pretty set on Captain America. So I think we're going to go get him his Halloween costume finally. We wanted to wait because we weren't 100% sure which one he was going to go with. But yeah, I think we're going to go get him his Halloween costume and carve pumpkins this weekend. And so I'm going to give you guys an update about Halloween, what we're doing for Halloween, and how we're handling Halloween with his family and all of that next week. So I do have a plan for next week's video. Sorry that this week's video was all over the place. You guys know I am a mess and don't have my crap together, but I just wanted to let you know we've been foster parents for a year. Like, what? And we've had 6 kids come through our home. So if you have questions for me, leave them down below. Again, let me know if you're interested in hearing from my husband. Maybe if enough people give him support and encouragement, he'll agree to come on with me, and we'll do that video another time because I have a plan for next week with the Halloween stuff. And then we'll see about the following week if I have that update for you or not. If I don't have that update, maybe I can do the video with my husband then. If I have the update, then I'll be giving you the update. Sorry to be so secretive. In foster care, nothing's official till it's official. So that's not official yet. So I don't want to say anything until it is. Anyway, thank you for sticking with me through this video. Sorry it's so long and rambly, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what's going through my head about the first year of fostering. And if you have questions, just leave them down below. I'll try to respond to everybody. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Let me know what your plans are. Are you carving pumpkins? Are you doing something else? Costume contests, parades, whatever, trunk or treats. Let me know. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.